Well, hey everybody, Mr. Reeves back with you. And we're going to be looking at lesson 5.1 in the Math 7 textbook, percent of increase and percent of decrease. So we've been studying some problems about the meaning of percent and solving problems, finding the percent of numbers or finding out what percent of a number another number is, etc. All right, now we're going to be looking at a application that you see a lot in real life. Percent is used a lot with marking items up or marking items down. All right, when you increase the price on an item, that is called a percent increase, and that describes how much the quantity increases in comparison to the original amount. And we describe that percent of change using the ratio, the amount of change, which is how much it went up or how much it went down, over the original amount. All right, so if it went up, it's an increase. If it goes down, it's a decrease. Again, it's a ratio that compares right here the amount of change, how much, if it's decreasing, how much it went down over the original amount. Okay, so in the next video we're actually going to be solving those problems, but in this first video I wanted to take a look at the problems which your book calls using a percent of change. When they give us an original amount and they tell us the percent of change and we find the new amount or the new cost, etc. Okay, because to me it makes more sense to start there and then go back the other way. So that's what we're going to be doing. All right, I do want to let you know for what we're doing, I will be using a calculator and strongly encourage you to do the same. Certainly all this could be done without a calculator, but it's going to take a lot longer. Okay, so make sure you have a calculator available and that you know how to use that, and I will be modeling that for you. Okay, it says the TV has an original price of $499. Find the new price after the given percent of change. And first we're going to look at a 10% increase, and then we're going to look at a 30% decrease. Okay, so let's take a look first right here at this 10% increase. So we have our original price and we're going to add to it. All right, so just a reminder that 10% is 10 over 100 or 0.10. All right, this is something that we're supposed to remember from a previous lesson. 30% is 30 over 100 or 0.30. Okay, so if you do not remember how to change percentages to decimals or fractions, then you might want to go back and re-watch or watch for the first time if you haven't and work through the lesson which talked about converting between percentages, fractions, and decimals. All right, so if we're going to have a 10% increase, this is what we're going to have. We're going to have 100%, which is the original price, right? And then we're adding, because it's an increase, we are adding 10%. All right, that is our increase. And what that's going to give us is 110% of the original. Okay? This one right here, a 30% decrease, we're going to have the original price. So we're going to have 100% again. The original, or whatever you're starting with, is always going to be 100%. In this case, it's a price. Okay? But because it's a decrease, we're going to take away or subtract that 30%. That is our decrease. And 100 minus 30% is going to give us 70%. So we're going to get 70% of the original. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to understand. Increase is going to add it, and you're always adding to 100. Decrease is going to subtract it, and you are subtracting 100. All right, so what is it that we want for this problem? We want 110% of $499. All right, and in this one, what do we want? We want 70% of $499. Okay, So that's how we set it up, and then we have to do this problem. Now again, we did these type of problems previously. Now, I got to tell you, I'm going to make a little change in gear here, because when we did them before, I really emphasized the proportional reasoning method. All right, so before, remember, we did percent over 100 equals part over the whole. Do you remember? And we emphasized that method for all the different problems we're solving. And the reason I emphasize that method is it worked for all the different types of problems. Remember, we also talked about is over of, is representing the part, and of representing the whole. Okay? We did, if you go back carefully and watch my video, I also talked about the multiplication method for finding a percent of. All right? And that of, remember, indicated multiplication. And the reason I did not emphasize that method, even though it works, is because that method only works specifically for finding the percent of a number. All right, whereas this worked for all. Again, this was the proportional reasoning method. This was the multiplication method. Because the types of problems we're doing now are all the same, we're going to be needing to find the percent of a lot of numbers. I'm going to go to this method, the multiplication method. All right, so of, when you see that of now, you want to be thinking multiplication, not this of here where we're thinking the whole, part of the whole. All right, now we're thinking of as multiply. Okay, so when you see of, we're going to be thinking multiplication. All right, so 110% of 499, we're going to change that 110% to a decimal. All right, so 110% as a decimal, remember, when you're changing from a percent to a decimal, you can move that decimal 2 places to the left, and what I get is 1.10. Remember, anytime you have a percent that's greater than 100, you're going to have a decimal greater than 100, so it's going to be 1.10. All right, and then it's going to be times 499. Okay, this one, 70%. Well, 70% is less than 100. Remember, 70% is 70 over 100, so that is going to be 0.70. Again, you can also move the decimal 2 places to the left here, and it lands in front. But pretty much when it's a percentage that's less than 100, all right, you should be able just to look at it and quickly make it that decimal, right? And actually, the more we do over 100, it will be the same. So this one right here is going to be 70%, or 0.7 times 499. All right, and then at this point, we're going to go to our calculator, all right, and I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do 1.10 times 499, and when I do that, I get 548.9. Now remember, this is money. I have frustrated some of you by marking questions wrong. This is dollars. What does that mean? $548, and we don't put 0.9, we put 0.90. All right, money is dollars and cents, and money always goes 2 decimal places. $548.90. All right, always go 2 decimal places with money. The calculator does not know it's money, and it's not going to tell you that. Okay, so don't get mad at me when I mark that wrong, because you did not go 2 decimal places. All right, 70% of, again, of is going to be 499. And again, it only goes 1 decimal place on the calculator, and I get 349.3. $349.30. $349.30. Again, I put the dollar sign at the front, and I go 2 decimal places. And guys, always think critically at your answers. Ask yourself, does it make sense? All right, this one was going up 10%, so now the cost is more than it was originally. This one went down 30%. Now the cost is less than it was before, right? And this one went up less than this one went down because this was a 30% decrease and this was a 10% increase. All right. All right. So let me go ahead and just did I already pull it up here? I think I did. Let me do just a couple more examples for you, and then this video will be done and we'll be going on to our next video. Okay, so this one right here says a TV has an original price of $499. Again, they're sticking with the same price here, but now they want to do a 40% increase. Okay, so again, we're going to have 100% plus 40% because it is what? It is an increase, which is 140%, right? And this is of our original, right? And what was our original? Of $499. Okay. So remember, then we're going to take this percent and we're going to move the decimal over 2 places. Okay. And we're going to get 1.40 times $499. Remember, this is money, okay? And then at this point, I'm going to go to my calculator here, okay? And I'm going to do 140%, 1.40. I move the decimal 2 places times 499 is going to give me 698.6. 698.6, right? 698.60 because it is money, right? $698.60. All right, $698.60. All right, I'm just warning you, they might not mark it wrong if you don't put that 0 on there, but I certainly am going to. You must remember it is money. All right, so let's go on to the next problem. This time we have a 30% decrease. All right, so this is the one we did. Luckily, though, they changed the price now. It's $449 instead of $499. Otherwise, it'd be the same as the one we did before. All right, so again, we're going to have 100%, which was the original, but now we're going to take away 30%, right? So 100% minus 30% of the original. Well, 100% minus 30% is 70% of the original. All right, what was the original? Now the original was $449. Remember, of tells us we're going to multiply, and 70% as a decimal is 0.70. And then at this point, we're going to go to our handy-dandy calculator, 0.70. There's the other one we did that was 70%. But now instead of $499, it's $449. All right? And we get 314.3. But remember, this is money. 314.30, $314.30, which makes sense because it was a 30% decrease, so the price went down. All right, let's check our answer right here, 314.30 with the dollar sign that they put for us, 2 decimal places, ka-chow. There we go. All right, so that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is how you find the percent of change. Remember, if it's an increase, you're going to add that percent on, and it will be over 100%, which means your decimal will be larger than 1. If it's a decrease, you're going to subtract that percent, and that means that your percent will be less than 100%, and as a decimal, it will be less than 1. All right, well, I sure hope this video was helpful. In our next video, we're going to look at finding what that percent of increase and that percent of decrease actually looks like. All right, till next time.